I was watching a video from BubbaMickMac, hi there, Mick I guess, this morning about Santa Claus and God, and I think it was partly in relation to another video, maybe a blog TV thing, with the user Together for Peace, who I think is called Jack. And it was really to do with, whether belief in Santa Claus was equivalent to belief in God, and what the kind of relationships were between those things. And it made me think, well, several things. Firstly, about belief itself, what the word belief is, and then Santa Claus, really, and what it would mean to believe in Santa Claus, and whether a grown-up could do it. And I think this belief thing is really significant, because I think we could do with a different word, really. I think we could do with a different word, because belief in Santa Claus or belief in God is not the same, or is often used in the same way that we talk about belief in entities in the physical world, like belief in evolution, or belief in gravity, or belief in the existence of these trees here in this park in Cheshire, in this wintry scene. I believe firmly in the existence of that tree, and that belief is supported by a number of things. It's supported by the fact that it's making an impression on my retina. It's supported by the fact that I can put my hand on it and report on its haptic existence, its tactile existence for me. I can also, carry out various processes on this tree, measure it, empirical processes. I can get other people to talk about it as well. We can come to some agreement about its status as a physical object. We can ascertain that it obeys the laws that apply to all physical objects, and the laws of physics, the laws of biology. We can do all kinds of things on that, so that belief is echoed and supported in the physical realm. My belief in the existence of that tree is a belief in its physical existence as a physical object. But then there's that other kind of belief, isn't there? Where you say, I really believe in socialism, or I really believe in capitalism, or I really believe in objectivism or something, you know what I mean? I believe that. It's not the same thing, is it? When you say those things, you're not attributing to the existence of socialism as an objective fact, or as an object in the world, in the way that trees are objects in the world. You're saying you believe in them in the sense that you are committing to them, or possibly even submitting to them, because I think the origins of the word belief lie somewhere between commit and submit. It's that kind of a thing. You believe in a certain ideology, perhaps, or you believe in a certain philosophy, and that's nothing to do with perception. It's nothing to do with empiricism. It's to do with commitment, and it's to do with, as I say, submission to perhaps to an authority, or perhaps just to the set of convictions that ideology or that philosophy allows you to entertain. And so religious belief is odd in that sense, because certainly some religious folk who I come across on YouTube, and some atheists, not as many atheists obviously, treat religious belief as if it was the first kind, as if you can talk about belief in God in the same way as you can talk about belief in the existence of trees. But you can't. A belief in God is not the same as belief in a tree, or belief in the ground under your feet, or belief in the skies, or belief in gravity, or belief in evolution. It isn't a belief that runs out into empiricism and physical explanations of the world. It's much more like the other belief, the commitment, the submission, the relationship to a philosophy or an ideology. That's where it would become a belief. It's a particular kind of belief. Religious beliefs are particular kinds of that kind of belief. They're belief systems, perhaps philosophies, which make great use of personification. Most philosophies don't have personification, some do, but religions almost invariably do have a kind of person, a personified entity at the centre of it, which you might call God or something like it, which coheres certain aspects of that philosophy. And as I say, most philosophies don't. But it is. I think it's of that kind of order, a belief of commitment and submission, not a belief of physicality and embodiment and empiricism. Actually, I haven't said that no philosophies do. I think in a way they do, or even ideologies. I'm thinking about that phrase, the invisible hand of the free market, which, you know, is used in terms of how capital works. You know, the free market capitalism is supposed to be a self-organising process, and if you like the idea of that self-organising process, and you're willing to commit and submit to it, to the extent that you say, I believe in capitalism, you might even use that phrase, I believe in the invisible hand of the free market. It's a metaphor, but it's a little atrophied bit of personification at the same time, isn't it? You can easily imagine that, well, I can easily imagine that extending, so as well as an invisible hand, it has an invisible heart and head and mind. Before you know it, you've got the god of capitalism, Mammon. Anyway, yeah, so that's my first thing to do with that, just about belief. And in fact there's two of them, and a lot of the difficulties, I think, in talking about this stuff is slippage between those two understandings of what a belief is. But the other thing is to do with Santa Claus, actually, because I used to believe in Santa Claus briefly when I was a kid, and then later on I didn't. But there wasn't a sudden moment when I stopped believing in Santa Claus. It was a transition, and the transition was my sister and I used to watch my mum fill up our Christmas stockings on Christmas Eve, late at Christmas Eve. I don't know how this arrangement worked out, but that's what we used to do. So we knew that Mum was filling those stockings on Christmas Eve, and yet somehow there was something like a belief in Santa Claus. But it wasn't. I mean, when I was really small, yes, it was a guy in a red coat flew over the rooftops in a sleigh. But then there was this long period from 5 till 8, I guess, when Santa Claus was a bit like that. But it was also your mum putting a tangerine in the end of a sock, and then some sweets, and then some little toys hanging on the end of your bed. And then after that, it was a period when you were doing the similar kinds of thing. You know, what started out as a person moved into a personification, and then became just some kind of abstract idea to do with generosity and sharing or being nice to folk. You know, taking time out to do something nice to people at certain times of the year. You know, it became that kind of a almost ideology, almost philosophical gesture. So I guess all I'm saying is there's that little experience of mine. I'm not saying it should be generalised. Was for me at least a bit like the first kind of belief in an objective physical character in the world who delivered presents, who presumably would be subjective to empirical testing, and then in moving through that into a period of personification, and then gradually dissolving into a philosophy or a way of being, really, an attitude to the world. Yeah, anyway, I hope that makes some kind of sense. I believe in Father Christmas. Looked up to the sky with excited eyes. Look how excited my eyes are.